Hey everyone, welcome to my ZZ tutorial. This video is part 1, and in this part I'm going to be showing you guys a brief overview of the method as well as some background information. So there will be 4 things in this video, and this video will be more of a sit back, relax and listen type of video. There won't be too much movement, nor will there be too much strictly educational content. It's mostly really interesting information and some stories. So the first thing what I'll do is I'll give you guys a breakdown of the method. So I'll explain verbally what the method is all about and what happens in the method. The second thing I'll do is give you a quick demonstration solve so you can actually see what happens in a ZZ solve. The third thing is I will give you the method's history as well as interesting background information. And the last thing is I'm going to talk about my experience using it. So let's get into the breakdown of the method. So let's talk a little bit about the method's breakdown. So when I say breakdown, I mean what steps are in the method and in what order do they come. So the ZZ method has 3 steps. The first step is called the EO line. EO stands for edge orientation, so you can expect there to be some sort of magic with the edges before you start actually solving things. And the line obviously refers to a line-like structure on the cube. In this case, it is a line on the D face, so whatever is down for you, and it is built between the front center, the down center, and the back center. So it's this line right here. In the demonstration solve, I'll show you guys exactly what an EO line looks like, but for now it's edges all oriented, and then there's a line that's solved over here. So you can think of it as half a cross if your background is CFOP. After the EO line is finished, the solver goes ahead and does F2L. And the F2L feels very, very different because the edges are oriented in the first place. And in our case, the F2L is rendered 3gen. And what 3gen means is solvable by using only 3 different face turns. And in our case, the face turns are R, U, and L. So you can use any form of R move, like R prime, R2, or even R itself, and any form of U move, and any form of L move. And those 3 moves, or types of moves, or groups of moves, are the only moves needed to solve the F2L. So because you only have 3 different types of moves, you don't have to rotate the cube because you can reach RUL all from this position, and you don't have to do any F or B turns or D turns. So it's very physically efficient and very comfortable. So that's another very interesting part of the ZZ method. After you solve the F2L, you will get a cross on the top here, and this will resemble what happens after you say you do a 2-look OLL and you solve the cross. It'll be automatically solved for you. So if you don't know full OLL, you will soon if you use the ZZ method, because you'll get an automatic top cross, and those 7 OCLLs will act as your 1-look OLL, which is really cool. If you like lightweight algs, it really restricts your last layer. Speaking of restricting your last layer, the top cross also serves as a segue into more case restriction if you want to do sort of 1-look last layer. Some people, because you have already formed a top cross, go even further in restricting the cases of last layer by, say, permuting edges or orienting corners, and that makes 1-look last layer much more practical. So that's pretty much a breakdown of the ZZ method. The steps are, again, EO line, F2L, and last layer. And the last layer has a variety of options, and you can even do some very interesting last slot tricks like CLS or winter variation. Those are more common in ZZ because the edges are oriented, and you don't have to do, say, ELS in order to orient the edges before you do CLS. So in case you're a bit confused by the terminology, I will have links in the description so you guys can see all the algorithm sets I'm talking about. So like winter variation, CLS, I'll link you guys to all of those so you guys can see what those are all about. Let's get down to the demonstration solve. All right, so let's take a look at this scramble. It's actually been sitting in front of me for quite a while now. I'm going to solve this and show you guys what a ZZ solve will look like. I am going to just solve the EO line, point it out to you just to show you what it's like, solve the F2L, point it out to you to show you what it's like, and then solve the last layer, and then talk a little bit, and then we'll be fine in terms of the demonstration solve. So here is what I would do for the EO line, like that. And the line is solved. You can see it's a line. Yeah, and the edges are oriented. Don't worry if you can't tell they're oriented. There will be plenty of video content for you guys to watch, and I'll be teaching edge orientation in a very, very comprehensive manner. As of now, I have finished this EO line, so now what I'm here on is the F2L. So I'm going to solve the F2L using 3gen, so no cube rotations required, and it's only RUL, so keep an eye out for that. All right, and it's not solved. Haha. So this is what we call a CLS, and I was mentioning it earlier, but there is an algorithm set that flips all the corners if you have only one corner misplaced on the F2L and the rest is done. So what I'm going to do is flip this corner and flip all the other corners. The algorithm goes like this, and it skips OLL because all the corners are flipped and all the edges are flipped in the first place, so it allowed me to do that. And this is a G-perm, like that, and the cube is solved. So that was a pretty normal ZZ solve, minus the CLS. CLS doesn't technically belong in the ZZ method, but it's certainly very handy because it allows you to skip steps and maybe even combine two steps together. So highly recommend learning it. I will cover some general CLS stuff in a future video in the series. But for now, that was the demonstration solve. I hope you guys enjoyed what ZZ looked like. If you're interested, we can continue to the method's history. Alright, so let's talk about the history of the method. So this method was invented in 2006 by a man named Zbigniew Zaborowski. I asked one of my Polish friends how to pronounce it, and he said it was vaguely that. So in the future, I'm just going to call him ZZ or Mr. Z. So as I said earlier, this method was invented in 2006, and when it was being proposed and developed, it had ergonomics in mind. And when I say ergonomics, in plain English, it means the study slash the science of making things comfortable and efficient. So if you were to apply ergonomic type of thinking to a more practical thing, such as a cup, let's say, a more ergonomic cup would say it would be easier to hold while you're walking. Like the shape of the cup would be easier to hold so you don't spill while you're walking somewhere. Or perhaps the material of the cup would be not so susceptible to temperature change. So let's say you're drinking something really, really hot, you wouldn't burn your hand while drinking it. So that's ergonomics in a conventional sense. In the 3x3, ZZ saw ergonomics as limiting cube rotations and restricting your F2L to RUL moves. So that was his point of view of what ergonomics was on a Rubik's Cube, and I think he pursued it to a very, very well thought out and high level degree when developing the ZZ method. So that's what the ergonomics refers to. And right now, the ZZ method is lumped together with three other methods in a group called the Big Four. And those are just totally informal, but the Big Four are the methods that most people know about. They don't know how to necessarily do every single thing in the method, but they know that they exist, and they know that other people out there are practicing them, and they're competitive with those methods. So the Big Four methods include CFOP, Petrus, Roux, and ZZ. However, despite being a Big Four method, I think ZZ is still relatively unexplored compared to other methods such as CFOP, which has been studied over and over again, and a lot of people use it. So I think ZZ should definitely get more of a chance to be seen in the world, and that's part of the reason why I was making this tutorial, so to show everyone what the method is all about, so people who are interested in switching have an opportunity to explore a new method. So that pretty much does it for the history of the method. After that one, I'm going to talk about my experience using it. Alright, so for those of you who don't know me very well, my name is Phil Yu, and I've been solving with the ZZ method since 2009. I first came across the method in the speed solving forum, and I just read the thread, and on the thread there was some guy that posted a text documentation of the method. So the first description of the method I got was in text, so I read the whole thing and I was really interested because it was a whole new way to kind of look at efficiency when solving. So I was really interested, and I felt that it had great one-handed potential, and it really went along with the things that I preferred for one-handed. So like the efficiency that was embedded in the method was also the efficiency I preferred in one-handed solving. So I thought those two worked really well together. So I tried that, and I still solve ZZ today, and I'm very happy I do, because A, it sets me apart, and B, it's like an adventure because I don't know what I'm going to do next with the method. There's always new things to learn, and it's really interesting to be one of the first people to use the method competitively. As of 2012, it's right now it's 2012, and the recording of this video, I average around 11 seconds two-handed and 13 seconds one-handed. And even though 13 seconds one-handed seems a bit fast, I think there's definitely room for growth. And I definitely feel like I could do a lot of things better than I currently do. And so I'm really excited to see where the method will go in the future, which is part of the reason why I'm making this video. I'm making it so that more people can see how the method works, and perhaps more people can make this method their own method. And I feel that this process has a really great mutual benefit effect, which I'm going to explain right now. So the effect I was describing earlier kind of goes like this. So you get a new method and you learn how it basically works, and you kind of work it in with your own style and your own preferences. And because the method has been tested already, I'm sure if you go about it the right way, you'll get some great times, and you will experience a whole new way of solving a cube, which to me, it's very stimulating. So you'll get all those results. And then what you can do is you take all the things you find and give it back to the method. And all those interesting techniques you find, maybe you find some algorithms, or you find a way to build blocks in a really cool way. You just give it back to the method, and the method will keep growing and growing. And you'll grow as a solver as you use the method, and the method will grow with you, which is the really, really cool thing about using a new method. Um, Personally, I don't find it the same if the method's just all developed and just like laid out in front of you. I personally like to interact with my method, so I think ZZ is really, really great for that. So I'm hoping more people can see this tutorial and get a better idea of what ZZ is all about. I am currently one of the only competitive ZZ solvers out there, and I definitely wish there were more. So if you're interested, I hope to see you in the next video. The next video will be a video of edge orientation detection, and that will become the first educational portion of this series. I'll teach you how to detect all the wrong edges so you can eventually orient them. So that's what to look out afterwards. If you're still curious about the method and want to see more, I have plenty of solving videos that I'll post in the description, as well as some walkthrough solves if you're interested in the kind of thought process involved in the ZZ method. So thanks again for watching the video, and hope to see you on the next part.